Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome. Welcome to Kayaking for Autumn's channel. Just a little update on my attempts to try and get Biodome into the new version 0.20 or version 0.21 of Kerbal Space Program. The fuel tank and the engines are no longer DAE and have now made it to the .mun age. Hooray! And they work. And the final solution was actually, in Unity, you need to put these empty game objects at the bottom of each of these thrusters, at exactly the right point, mathematically speaking. And you have to call them thrust transform, and the transform bit of it needs to have a capital T, all one word. Lowercase thrust, capital T, lowercase transform. Thrust transform. And then you can have all jets coming out of here, and they all work, and I'll show you that in a minute. I'm also working on growing plants, an experiment, which I've had a chat with, which is this here. Anyway. Basically, yeah, I've not kind of got the orientation of the model quite right at the moment, but basically it's going to be a sproutling. I'll show you I'll show you what I can do at the moment just to prove to you that the engine works, and I'll show you what the plant hopefully will do at some stage, but it's not yet been compiled, and just give you a little demonstration just to prove that the engine itself works, because obviously without this it's not possible for the Biodome to fly, so you know the jets are all in the right place. Yeah. Okay, so that's just the engines of it. There, end flight, bang. Basically, here we are in Unity, and here is the this watermelon, which is the mesh. Okay, and what you can do here is, because this is got a texture of lots of different ones, if I change the offset of the Y here, so we can say minus 0.125, yeah, you can see 0.25 now, it's grown a bit more, sorry, minus 0.375, minus 0.375, okay, so it's grown a bit more. If I say minus 0.375, minus 0.625, he's grown a bit more. If I say minus 0.75, he's grown a bit more. And finally, minus 0.82, minus 0.875, and he reaches his final state of growth. Okay, so by changing that value of main text offset, okay, it's possible for me to make this single transparent cube appear to grow at various different stages. Okay, I'm now going to show you some of my code. The final stage of growth there, and there's one of the earlier stages of growth. Sorry that you couldn't see that there. And here we are in Blender, okay. Oops. Edit. Texture paint. Okay, so we have our little sproutling here at this phase here. And if I go back to edit mode again, and obviously if you see here, you've got all of these different, the same plant at different stages of its growth, all extracted from a time-lapse photography. And just when you're doing the offset, you're basically doing this, but you're doing it mathematically, and I'm trying to do this without having to go out and redo it. So I can do it in code, so I can give the illusion that this plant is growing, okay? So for instance, if I drag that right down to there, for instance, bam, and I go edit, texture paint, bang, you can see that you've got a plant that's quite well grown. And if I go to, so here for instance, you can see the plant is not so well grown. Obviously, if I go back to when the plant first sprouted out, and here we have the sprouting. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this grid here, but that was just so I could use it as a reference, so I could get the position of the plant absolutely perfect in bitmap. I now need to show you the code thing. Okay, welcome back. This is the code that I'm using, and I've been reliably informed that if I want to try and code the main texture of the cube to have an offset, I need this.part.gameObject.renderer.material.mainTextureOffset.y, and I've been trying all sorts of different iterations of this code to try and make it move down by a certain amount, and it's just not having it, and it just won't work. And I think that my weakness here is I just don't get vectors. I've tried putting this vector in called growth. I've tried just saying that maybe main offset and then just equals 0, 0.125. I've tried that. Still doesn't like it, and there just doesn't seem to be anything that works. I mean, I'm not sure if game object here has to be whatever it is, growing plants, which is the object's name. Or maybe the object is, I don't know. I'm totally out of my depth, I'm not even lying to you. I mean, I've only just managed to make my first bit of code work, but the whole idea is basically, if after 5 seconds, if the launch time is greater than 5 seconds, but if the launch time is less than 10 seconds, then you're going to be looking at basically frame 2 of the sprite sheet. And if it's less than 15 seconds, if it's not, but it's less than 15 seconds, then you go down to frame 3, frame 4, frame 5, frame 6, frame 7, and frame 8. And then if I want to, I can make a 2048 by 2048 image, and in theory I could make 64 256 by 256 little images. So I can make a very basic animated texture. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to basically say that the plant will grow until it reaches its peak growth. And it says that the code works, the plant has reached peak growth, and then the code ends, and then it doesn't grow anymore after that. I mean, that's just a basic sort of thing I was trying to hope to do, but I'm having real difficulty, and I'm having difficulty with this code here, which is this.part.gameObject.renderer.material.mainTextureOffset. I don't understand how to use this function. I've tried all sorts of combinations. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. If any of you guys have any idea what might make the code work, I'd love to hear what you've got to say. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Please give me some ideas and let me know what you think I should do next.